don't know. Mika, caution, one Mikey. Tell them what. Black nation rise. Wouldn't think of full time. Do we stop being victimized, organized and centralized? Take the shackles off your mind. Black nation rise. Hold your head up with pride. Them no care about black lives. Now the ship up capsize. Open up your mind. Firstly, every African a queen and king. Know your past and you will know yourself with it. Black man not got our color and no sin. Never trade my roots, me proud of my skin. Sin I forget the old slave master Jim. Pan back with a sting. And you know them now bring them from the plantation. Nowadays a prison. Hear the ancestors them singing African hymns. But we have to rise up in order to win. We have to see a floating sinkings and we can't sing. Call out the black leaders in our communities. We stand against injustice and stand for unity. And in action rise. Wouldn't think of full time. Do we stop being victimized, organized and centralized? Take the shackles off your mind. Black nation rise. Hold your head up with pride. Them no care about black lives. Now the ship a capsize. Open up your mind. Freedom must come with a cost. You can't know the future if you don't know the past. If you sight the fullness, if you don't know the half. Them milk the mother cow and them want kill the calf. Check the status, it's off the grid off the graph. Look how much blocky youths them kill off the Ross. Classism, racism, black brother them a ball. We have to fight all if we back against the wall. Like the Bengal roll. The Bengal roll. Back to your roots and your window and yourselves. We did that with our friends. No one time to rebel by the KKK. Enough black brothers, them hang them in the suburbs. We in a projects, yo, you know see the trend. In a 2020, yo, we still a go pretend. Like slave master and slave bikini. They my friend, like Black Panther. Take a stance, yeah, my friend. Can't play cover, rise up from lions den. Reaching out to the rude boys and all the ragamuffins. You will fall for anything if you stand for something. Black nation rise. Couldn't think of full time. Do we stop being victimized, organized and centralized? Take the shackles off your mind. Black nation rise. Hold your head up with pride. Them no care about black lives. Now the ship a capsize. Open up your mind.
Good afternoon, Jamaica. Welcome again to Midday Connections. It has really been a hectic day. Hectic morning. Back in my cooking mood. So anybody want lunch? Can call me and arrange to get lunch. I think the only thing left is stew peas and curry chicken. Stew peas and curry chicken. If you want fish, fish is done to order. There's chili fish here today. Fried chicken done. Oh, and I think soup leave. Soup is here. The beef soup, the gungo beef soup. Nice. Here, Jamaica. So I'm here. I organize myself. Organize myself, students. You know, so yeah, man, me dey back in my groove. Me not telling like students, me feel nicer in the kitchen here. Me feel nicer in the kitchen here. Me have more space can twist and turn and it just one of these days students me show now how me lay out the kitchen for the rest of the you understand? Me feel like me feel as my chef said, boy boss, it feel like me the back down a Digicel in terms of the layout. Me not congested. Me not feel wonder if this a come or this or that. It feels so nice. Natural sunlight a come upon me. Every little thing Jamaica, I feel good. The aroma, I just a go in the ear, Lord Jesus. If me a man, I feel better in the kitchen here. Everything just in a one space. Hello, my friend. Yes, in my new place. Yes. Go round at the kitchen door. Go round at you see how my Tapanaris friend them a come visit me. Yes. Bless up yourself, my friend. Make him see in the kitchen. Make him see in the kitchen. Make him see in the kitchen. Hello. Yeah, good day.
Oh, sorry, because you asked for the lunch.
Lunch? I have stew peas leaf and I have curry chicken leaves, shrimp pasta, chicken and chicken and chips finished. You can, yeah.
Hold on. You do delivery?
Where are you?
I'm in New Kingston right now.
All right, so what you're going to do? Eh? What you say, my friend?
You're breaking up. Yeah, what you say?
Yeah, the shrimp pasta is available. How much?
Stew peas.
One stew peas and what else?
I want the soup.
One stew peas, one soup. You want the pasta as well? Huh? Two stew peas and a soup. You're picking up or deliver?
I forgot to pick it up. Where you are?
Hold on a second. Yes. Good afternoon. Yes, it is.
Can I have how much for your stew peas?
1,500.
Do you deliver to Nannyville?
Nannyville. You know, nobody can send for the order.
No.
Send me the location and I'll sort it out for you right now. All right?
Okay, we'll do.
They're on. It's 3 stew peas. Everybody are calling me about the food now. Hello, good day.
Hello, Andre.
Yes.
Hello, Andre. Andre, you passionate about kids. Oh, me hear you got hung up the thing last night. I pray that God bless you with a triplet. Me I beg God to send the woman come, the wife. Not just the woman, the wife. Me want to get 3 people one time.
Lord dear, me don't know if me a stool like that to get 3
No. We're not speaking that. We're not speaking that. Me want to get 3 people one time. You can cook, you look like you're a wonderful father.
Hey, all right.
All right, in Jesus' name, I speak it into being.
All right, me bono no.
And it is so.
God bless you. Hey, woman says she want me shoot one time, get 3 picnic. And what is? Hey, Students, God is good. God is good. So remember, Deron, remember one lady forget 2 stew peas. No, one lady forget 1 stew peas. One man forget 2 stew peas and a large soup. Or up and deal with it there. And them want a curry chicken too. Lord Jesus, the order them are coming. Anyways, the brother do shows. The brother do shows. Doctor, the real doctor. The real doctor is here today, Jamaica. We're not talking about a doctor with PhD. We're talking about doctor with certified and practicing in Jamaica. Who, when the PNP Farm Administration will be the next Minister of Health, them time them will not know of Jamaica if I will have access to him. But me know me have access to getting him right now. Not so Jamaica. So let us welcome Dr. Alfred Dawes. He make we welcome Dr. Alfred Dawes, Jamaica. Good afternoon, my right hand, left hand, right foot, left foot.
Good afternoon. I can't believe you're on here selling food.
No, are the people them a call and say they want to Dr. Dawes. Yeah, go on like you don't know the stew peas nice.
The stew peas, bad man, and the barbecue pig steel. The sorrel pig
Yeah, they
steel.
just me talk it to Dr. Dawes talk it. First
Yeah,
and test.
recommended on.
Dr. Dawes, what is happening in Jamaica?
What is happening in Jamaica? Boy, right now we are in the midst of one of the most elaborate public relations campaign that is determined to get Jamaicans to believe that our lives are better off now under this administration and we're heading in the right direction. And that is why they're coming with this whole Choose Jamaica, where they're talking about the achievements. And they want to equate a lot of intangible solutions or projects that are not impacting us as being proof of their good work and progress. And nowhere is this seen more in health, because everybody knows that the health sector is collapsing. If you talk to doctors, nurses, janitors, repairmen who fixing the machines and can't get parts, ambulance drivers with no ambulances to drive, the patients waiting on benches and chairs, those waiting for surgeries for years, those who can't get beds, the mothers who are dying more now than in 1980. You know, you realize that the system is far worse than it was before. And this is after the boast came out that money is not a problem. And more money is being spent on health now more than ever before. You know, they speak a lot about refurbishing. And when you look, you know, I see a video circulating with a TV in a waiting room to make, and it's a refurbished waiting room, but the people are on benches and chairs.
Mighty God.
For days sleeping. You know, I get calls from all over. Someone will do surgery and they put them back in the wheelchair. Someone told me that they went to the hospital, they took their husband to the hospital, one of my constituents, and someone was telling them that they need that wheelchair, they must go sit on the bench. And they said, no, it's my wheelchair. The hospital is even short of wheelchairs. We see news coming out now that patients can't get CAT scans because the government has stopped paying for them, because they paid out so much money that they basically bankrupted that system, and they owe the creditors, the suppliers, the radiology centers, a ton of money, and they just have to stop accepting government patients. Yet we are being told that all is well. Tomorrow there's going to be an opening ceremony for Cornwall Regional Hospital.
What them opening?
An opening ceremony for Cornwall Regional Hospital when less than 2% of the building is completed. They fixed up one room and they're going to move in the administrative staff, some of the administrative staff, not even the full administrative department. The wards are still drywall putting up, the theaters far, the kitchen, the A&E, everything else is all concrete. Yet there's going to be a grand opening ceremony for Cornwall Regional tomorrow, and people are going to fall for it because that is their intention.
So yes, so basically is 2% of the building ready.
1 room.
1 room ready after 9 years.
After 9 years. They just, it's about 6 months now, they stopped tearing down walls and start to build up walls. They were still demolishing up to 6 months ago.
What you saying to me?
And this is after about $25 billion. And remember when Morris guy said this, when they went to Parliament and said it's going to cost 3 million, Dr. Guy said it's going to cost more than 5 billion. Yeah, 5 billion. They laughed at him and said he doesn't know where he's getting his facts from. Here we are at 25 billion and climbing. And we still are nowhere near to completion. Yet they're going to waste taxpayer dollars and have an opening ceremony.
After 9 years, Dr. Dawes.
After 9 years. And billions of dollars.
How much them owe the people them who do the radiology service and the diagnostic services?
Hundreds of millions, probably billions. Nobody truly knows. Nobody knows. Instead of using that money and outfitting the hospitals with our own radiology equipment, our own CAT scans, our own MRIs, they decided that they were going to pay out everything to private entities and outsource. You know how many CT scans that could have bought, you know how many MRIs that could have bought and serviced and maintained, because we have radiologists working in the hospitals to read the scans. But yet they outsourced everything privately, and after those hundreds of millions of dollars and maybe even billions, we have nothing to show for it. The next PNP administration will still have to come in and find money to buy those machines.
Have you done a cost estimate of how much it would have cost in terms of purchasing machines for the hospitals? Have you done a cost estimate?
You know, it all depends on the brand you're going for and all that. But look, if you're going to look at, say, one company being owed about $500 million, one company, right? You could easily get a CT scan for $50 million. That's 10 CT scans right there.
Mm-hmm.
Easily. And we're not talking about something that's going to break down. You're talking about something that's decent.
Durable.
That can be a workhorse, durable. You know, it's a shame. And I just came out of a meeting with Southeast Regional Health Authority, and the whole point of that meeting was to make it seem as if because doctors and technical people choose the equipment, it justifies paying exorbitant prices for it. So if I tell you I want a cheese patty and you go out and pay $5,000 for the cheese patty, you want to come back and say, well, you were the one who chose the cheese patty instead of the chicken patty, so you cannot complain about the $5,000 for the patty. These are the things that are going on in health, and it needs to stop.
My God.
It's a very sophisticated, it's either some people are very incompetent,
Mm-hmm.
or they have a very sophisticated level of corruption going on. But it can't be that you have the same names being called all the time and an exorbitant amount of money being spent with these names. And every time you mention it, you hear that everything is above board. And I look through the whole process and it looks above board until you see where they can fix that process to work for them.
Dr. Dawes, I want to repeat it. So you can say after 9 years, tomorrow, they're going to open one room.
One room at Cornwall. I've seen the room pretty, Andre. Don't get me wrong, pretty room.
So when people see that, they're going to say, whoa!
And they're going to take a lot of pictures and they're going to cut ribbon and they're going to, have the cameras there and they're going to have people in positions with computers looking like they're doing work. You have the nice PR shots. You're a PR man. You used to work with them. You know it go.
Dr. Dawes, the Bible says come from amongst them. Come from amongst them.
But you know our river bottoms there, man. Them a go something that them a go work the room, them a go issue nice press releases and people going to say things going on at Cornwall. And they're not going to show the rest of the building where there is no A&E, no kitchen. There's pure concrete and drywall just going in now. Yet there's a big opening ceremony. And somebody asked me if I'm not going. Why are you going to waste time go down there for that? When we have the proper opening for Cornwall, we will be the ones opening it.
Oh, so you say you're going to get an opening later this year into next year?
Next year. It can't finish for this year. It can't be finished. It's impossible. The opening ceremony is just PR gimmicks.
The last time we spoke here, the 5 theaters down KPH open up.
So they issued a release to say that it would be open the following week. I knew it could not be open the following week because they had just at that point started to throw a lot of work crews in there to try and see if they can hurriedly finish it. And they missed the deadline and then they followed, but I never bother say anything because I just can't bother with them. The following week, they forced the doctors to go back in there without retesting to see if there is still mold in there. Remember, it was closed for mold, treated for mold, and you go back in there and start working and you don't test to see if you have gotten all of the mold. To put that in context, the clinic downstairs that never made the news, from October last year, they cleaned it to get rid of the mold. And then they tested it and it still had mold, so they cannot move back the clinics. But because the theaters made the news, they rushed to put back, they have people operating in the theaters with patients with open wounds, and you don't know if there's mold there.
Mighty God.
And then the ICUs are still non-functional. We still don't have enough ICU spaces because the ones that were closed for mold are still closed. But the PR machinery is going to point everything towards the theaters opening up. I'm surprised they never cut some ribbons to show the theaters open again. But that is how things are. Meanwhile, you have people dying in country hospitals because they can't get ICU space at KPH because the ICUs are still closed.
This is serious. So basically, what you're telling me then, say, even KPH still not at its optimum right now.
It is still not at its optimum. I remember KPH is the only Type A hospital that has been limping along since Cornwall Regional has pretty much been shut down. So all of the burden from right across Jamaica is going to KPH. I know KPH can't function to take care of KPH patients, much less the rest of Jamaica who would need to transfer them. So when you have all of that now and then you hear the stories coming out every week, you are now asked to make the decision whether or not you're going to believe the real world stories or what is being sold to you on social media and press releases coming out of the Ministry of Health. And that is what Jamaicans have to ask themselves. If after 9 years, the government cannot truly campaign on performance, all they're going to tell you is what they're going to do. Hope and promises. Is opposition alone supposed to be talking about hope and promises? They should be campaigning on performance.
You know, you're the Prime Minister say, if we don't have a good idea, no figure it to him, so he can implement it. So because there should be no change of government. You know, you hear that part?
You know, I think people have realized that when you're in a hole, the first thing you do is stop digging. And to stop digging, you have to get rid of this government. It's as plain as simple.
We're not going to the opening.
It's a waste of time. It's an absolute waste of time to go to have an opening ceremony for a room.
Boy,
if you put on a guest bedroom in your house, would you have an opening ceremony for it? When hotels are refurbishing and they put on an extra wing or something. If it was an extra wing at a hospital, I could say that. But it is a single room. And you have media ceremony and money being spent and the promotion surrounding it to open a room.
Hold on a day. Hold on. Yes, good afternoon, caller.
Well, Dr. Dada said one room tomorrow.
One room I open tomorrow, my friend. One room.
One room. Don't want to the rest of it.
It not finish make out yet. It not finish make out after 9 years. A one room.
The admin room.
Eh?
So why now?
The man said it makes no sense going into an admin room when the truth and in fact is the entire infrastructure that should have been built out. The truth is like you're selling a false hope to the people, making the people believe that everything is up and running and functional. Dr. Dawes is saying after him and Janice Allen visited, he realizes that 95% of the place is not ready.
98.
98% of the place not ready. It's a hot mess.
Okay.
Would you go?
Well, Monaco.
Because Dr. Dawes would be seen coercing with the government to sell one room to the people.
So it's a show tomorrow,
I am sure, Carla, Dr. Dawes know why I said the one room. Because when them put out that tomorrow, Dr. Dawes will surely show Jamaica exactly where they're going.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
All right. One room government. After me elevate from the one bedroom, Tufton really carry Jamaica hospital in a one room.
One admin. One admin room. Not even a patient room, is the admin room.
So it's not even an operating theater.
The administration room.
Well, and the one lady from Barbados love you. And she a call. Lord Jesus. One lady from Barbados named Miss Winnie. Love you bad. Miss Winnie, see a man there, talk to him.
My man, he's my son age. One of them.
How you doing, Miss Winnie?
How are you? And my grandson Andre, how are you?
I am good.
No, Dr. Dawes, someone called me and said there is no doctor in the Linstead Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know?
I'm not sure, but what I can tell you is that there's a severe shortage of doctors and nurses in a lot of the rural hospitals. And a big part of that is that we're not providing incentives for doctors to go there.
It's not incentive alone. There is no equipment for the doctors to work with.
Well, that's one of the incentives. You can't send me go somewhere to work and me not have no tools.
I think though it's a disgrace to see how the JLP, leading by Andrew Onis and that Dr. Tufton, running down the hospital that was in good condition.
Yeah.
Everything was maybe 80% okay. Now it's no percentage at all. And they're only talking about building this, cutting this, digging road, digging there, and they're not looking after the most important when people are sick, that they can get treatment. It's a disgrace. Andrew, bring down the country. How can he go and sit with leaders that are doing good for their country and he's doing nothing? All he's doing is thieving. Huh? Anyway, I hope to God that we can get them out soon. He's going to do the extra 3 months. We've got to prepare for that. Okay? Have a good day.
All right.
Your best. Check about the Linstead Hospital there for me.
Will do. Well, I've actually been in some conversations with Damian Crawford already about setting up a center of excellence for women's health there. So Linstead is on the radar and big things will be happening at Linstead once we assume office.
All right.
Okay, thank you. Sir.
All right. Bless you. Yes, hello. Welcome, caller.
Andre, how you doing?
I'm well.
Yes, I'm on the road. I'm sorry, but I have to call, 'cause I'm so upset. I went up to National Chest a while ago. I took my son up there to give blood for somebody. He came from overseas and leaving. So I went there. First thing what turned me off, Andre, when I went inside, I see the security from a company and something like Secora Core, something like so the security company name. In our coach lie down, take off our shoes, put her ground, and upon our tablet. We went inside and said good morning, because it was morning at the time. Nobody answered.
Yes.
Two security sit down there. That is first turn off for me. Because security company, we don't know what they do, we know who they might employ. Girls lie down in a couch, you know, and our shoes they are grown.
My.
All right. After that, my son went inside. So we never see no crowd going inside to give blood. So I said, oh, it takes so long to come out. All right, it took a while. When he came out, we see them have, like them give people who come out with some fruit punch in our cup. That disposed of the cup anyway. So when we see him come out, we said to him, and I go say, you do. Say, come, mommy. When we step outside, he was so upset. He said, mommy, through the needle, I couldn't go get upset, can't give his blood, so I have to keep calm. Instead, the lady who was supposed to take the blood have a trainee there. And she left the trainee to do it and not watching her. And when he look, it's pure blood over the place and the legal jump out, pure blood, I'll mess up his shirt. And him, the half bag of blood, you know, and they have to throw away that and go back and stick him again and take more blood. And the young lady who is supposed to supervise, online buying things, don't have the trainee. I do foolishness.
My God.
Is that happening in this country? And when people talk, what is happening now? You hear that lie, them a tell.
So you say the woman we must do the work, the machine.
Yes, let it be training who don't understand. Legal drop out, all kind of things. Because you're supposed to give one bag of blood, and my son give blood bag and a half. So maybe him short of blood, you know. You understand what I'm saying? Because he have to give the blood to the person. He said that's why he really have to do it before him go away. So he really give the blood. And when you finish again too, him say, they might give him a copper. He said this man I come with a copper fruit punch. No cover or nothing. I come give him. So he just take it and step out. Anyway, the same man me see with the cup, how long stand up with the cup and chat to somebody with the open cup. I chat to somebody before I'm going to the part where people walk in.
My.
You're slackness in this country and when people talk. I remember my sister went to Nathan Hospital, you know, when me and them talk sometime, you know, Andre, we just smile and sit down and listen to you, you know, when they think them and them say a lie.
Yeah.
My sister went to Nathan Hospital last year, it was Valentine's Day, and Chaperton sent her down in an ambulance. And before them send her straight because she sick, they have to wait till a second person come in the ambulance because they can't send down one person. So you go sit and dead in the ambulance. All right. After that, now when she come down, they admitted her and she sit down into a chair in an emergency.
It's 3 bags.
Until the Saturday before she gets up and sit down. Somebody sit down in a chair from Wednesday to Saturday evening. And when people talk these things now, they behave like it's like people tell it. But they need to go check out of her chest because the security up there talk to her man a foreign on tablet and take her shoes like she in her bedroom. Security that's supposed to be an alert.
My God.
And I'm so upset. My son is so upset. And I tell her, I'm going to call Andre. Why do you hear him not say to me, Mommy, forget about that? Why do you hear him say that? Him not say me mustn't call him, must know. Or him upset. How much blood? We need to jump out at half bag and them have to dash that half bag and go back and take a full bag. Woman did the hand line. The head one up there, the one who's supposed to supervise. Because the other one is just a training. And you online and buy something and make the girl make needle fly out a man and a half bag. The whole half bag has to throw away now. And him have to go back and give a full bag of blood.
All right, Mama. Well, who is trained?
Later, we will listen to you as usual. All right, take care.
This is what Dr. Dawes, you're seeing is the common denominator of poor customer service in healthcare delivery in the country. How are you going to change that?
We have to look at the root causes, and that is simply accountability. Someone will do their best up to what they're being observed and taken to task about. If a secure, and it goes from all levels. If a security supervisor is not monitoring the security guards, then that is an issue. We have had issues where we had to change security companies, and it starts from there. when you're looking at, there's nothing wrong with having trainees in hospital. I was a trainee and I moved up and I train trainees. But when I'm training trainees, I have to be there supervising them. So, you can't be a stage where I see somebody saying in the comment that they're not making any trainee touch them. If you don't make a trainee touch, you'll never have a doctor touching you later on in life. But we have to have built-in accountability systems. We have to have one of the things I want to introduce is a national quality assurance program or committee that is monitor all of the hospitals on the cleanliness, the waiting times, the services offered, all of that. And you will see which hospitals are breaking down, whether it's customer service, bathroom not good, infections breaking out, and so on. And this is something that they have in the state. You have a national quality and standards that you have to maintain. Right now, you have that for private hospitals, but the public hospitals don't have anything like that. The closest we got to that was Fenton Ferguson had introduced the audit committee, and they came one time down to South to check and see what were implemented from when I was making up noise at JMDA. After that, the current administration stopped it, and there were no more audits after that. Had we continued what Fenton Ferguson had instituted, where hospitals would be periodically audited, and you know about staff and you know about equipment, you know if them following infection control, the disposing of the garbage properly, you have adequate customer service reps, the waiting times, all of that. All of those are parts of the audits. Whether or not theater have mold, whether AC working, everything was there. And they shut it down and they act surprised now when you have mold growing in theater, where AC not working at Bustamante, AC not working at SAV, AC not working at KPH. They act very surprised when all of these things are happening when they shut down what Dr. Ferguson put in when we identify the problems in the system. Huh?
So you're going to return the oversight committee back?
You have to. You have to have audits continually going on. The laborers love to talk about I was critical of PNP under PNP government and things were bad. But the government was responsive. They did the audits to see whether or not it is true or talking. And then after that, they continued the audits to see if the things were implemented when they saw I was talking the truth. The JLP government is the one who shut down what Fenton Ferguson used to remedy that situation. And that is why we have mold all over the place. They don't do any preventative maintenance. During austerity, we couldn't spend because IMF tell you can't spend more than that on health. You can't spend more than that on education. We have the fiscal space. We have the budget space to say we're going to spend. And they'd love to boast how health moved from $60 billion budget in 2016 to $145 billion budget this year. What is that money going into?
And there's no evidence to show that the money is being spent to what it is being said or being...
We can't, you don't even have... We're still talking about the 400 million unaccounted for during COVID. There's just this emergency procurement, the whole procurement thing in Ministry of Health and everything, it needs to be addressed. Because too many things sound away and look away. And collusion is hard to prove. But when you see the same set of people all the time, bells are going to go off.
My God. My God. Hold on, the Dr. Dawes. One of your famous comrades calling. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Andre. Good afternoon, Dr. Dawes.
Yes, comrade.
Good afternoon.
Me think say then and sent on. Me never know say you have time for...
No, man. You say, man. Because you know what, monitor media, man.
Oh, you're a media monitor?
Yes. Last week, I got information about the Ministry of Health that the car park at Universal Hospital cost $230 million to construct.
What you said, John?
$230 million.
To construct a car park?
To construct a car park at Universal Hospital. when I check with some of the leading figures in construction, a man tell me that the motor shall cost about $80 million.
Really?
Yeah. If the motor shall cost about $80 million.
And you said cost 230 million, John?
Yes.
John, I don't believe Tufton take up 230 million fixed.
I am asking the question. With all this happening in the health sector, is that the priority? No.
John, Dr. Dawes, you hear of those allegations?
Yeah, man. So I heard of that as well, and I did some investigation. So the figure for 230, 280 or whatever it was is not just to asphalt the car park. They had to, remember, there were some buildings there, so they had to demolish, clear, reroute some electrical wiring, reroute plumbing and all of that to get the space. And then, so they put everything in that cost. So that part of it,
Funding.
so that part of it is you can say, all right, if you put all of that together, it could come up to that. The big issue I have is that why is it that our health budget is putting $5 billion in putting up a new building at UE that includes that car park and the other movement, all of that electrical stuff, when the health sector is collapsing? If you pump $5 billion capital budget, if you choose 5 hospitals across Jamaica and put in $1 billion in each one, it will transform healthcare immediately. Rather than putting in $5 billion at one hospital that you still have to pay when you go there.
So, when I check with somebody who would do those work,
yes,
then tell that all of the work, this scope of work I was done,
yes,
it will cost $80 to $100 million to be done. It never cost 230.
All right, John.
So give or take another 20 million.
So you say with save another 100 million, could I do something with it?
Yes, but before I go, my brother, the hospitals, the ambulances, I check out recently, and I see where the government has ordered 12 armored vehicles for the army. These armored vehicles cost between $750,000 US to $1 million US. Each ambulance costs $200,000 to $230,000 US. One ambulance could have buy one armored car could buy 3 ambulances. 6 armored car could have buy 18 ambulances.
Yes.
The priority of the government is not with healthcare. That's rubbish.
Them are prepare for war.
Look at myself.
All right, Comrade John.
Yeah.
Do you hear Comrade John said today, Jamaica? What's your take on that, dude, Dr. Da?
I tell you, Comrade John is talking about the 230 million for a car park. I'm saying, why is it that the government prioritizing $5 billion to the university hospital when you have public hospitals falling apart? That is my problem, is not the 230 million, which you can argue on, is the policy decision, the prioritization of putting up a wing at the university hospital at a time like this, when you have so many hospitals overcrowded. If you are going to spend that money and expand waiting rooms for the A&E departments at Spanish Town Hospital, Mandeville, Savlamar, you choose some hospitals. The man gone left me on my show now. All right, students. So the problem is the policy decisions, right, that the government is making. You cannot, at this point in time, focus on infrastructural development in only 2 hospitals, Cornwall Regional and the University Hospital. Those are the 2 big hospitals that got the big capital budgets for construction. What we need to look on is to focus on service. People don't go to the hospital alone just to say that them going to a nice pretty building. They go because them sick, they want to find out what's wrong with them, and they want to get better. How you do that? You have to have proper waiting rooms. You have to have proper large emergency departments with adequate beds. So if somebody needs to be on a bed, there is a bed space. Not only that, When they come in, you have to have the diagnostics available. So the lab, you cannot be waiting 6 hours, 12 hours to get back lab results so the doctors can diagnose and treat. You cannot be waiting for x-rays. You cannot need a CT scan because you think that you have a stroke or a head injury, and you have to wait on an ambulance to go out to a private facility, which the government is not paying for again. You have to find that money for that CT scan. Hope that there's an ambulance waiting. And then after you have that ambulance, you go to the private institution, get your scan, come back, doctor, get the report. That is when they're going to be able, after hours have passed. Andrew, you know, somebody did quite all right around the show for you, though.
Continue.
Thank you. Right. Before we were interrupted, students. So when you have that diagnosis met, and again, you have to have adequate staffing. You must have enough nurses, and the nurses can't be overworked and stressed on one nurse dealing with 20 patients. And you cannot have a situation where student nurses are at home now as we speak, waiting on a callback, and we're off on a $3 million plane ticket trying to get nurses from Philippines. Now, when you have adequate staff to treat these patients and diagnose them, you need the medication. And again, what we're spending on medication, we need to look on all of that to see if we're getting the best value for money. When you treat patients and they go home, they need to have adequate follow-up. And this is where the clinics come in. You cannot be giving somebody a 2-month clinic and then for 2 months their blood pressure is out of control and is another stroke they're going to come back in with, or the sugar and so forth. Some people come in for dressings. The dressings take place only on certain days. So in between, the foot starts smell bad, all sort of problems start happen to them. So everything boils down to service. We have to focus on service delivery. And once you can go to the hospital, get your diagnostics done, get your treatment done, then people are going to be in a much better position. Then you can tell them that their lives are improving. But we are aware that there is an overcrowding problem at the hospital. So how we plan to solve that with the next administration? One, we realize that a lot of people who go to the hospitals, they don't require being admitted to the hospitals. And this is where the concept of an urgent care facility comes in, where you can go to, they had wanted to go to have the clinics have extended opening hours. The problem is that you go to the clinic, you see a doctor, the doctor said, do this blood test, do this x-ray, and then come back and see me. You would have to then go to the hospital, wait again to get the x-ray done, get the blood test done, and then go back to the clinic. So people realize after a while, even if the clinic's open late, you'd need to go to the hospital and wait again. So what's the point of going to the clinic? So what we plan to do is to have dedicated urgent care centers, and they would have your lab tests, they would have your x-rays, your basic diagnostics. So if you're coming and you think that your sugar too high and you need some resuscitation, we'll be able to get your kidney function test, know exactly how much your sugar is, monitoring it and so on, give you IV fluids, and then we can monitor you overnight, bring down the sugar, correct the dehydration, and then send you home. You don't need admission. You don't need to go to a hospital. About 80% of people who go to the emergency room can be treated there and discharged. Urgent care centers, once up and fully running, they will take off the burden of hospitals. So the hospitals is really for who really sick. Urgent care centers, you realize somebody really need hospitalization, you put them in an ambulance that is readily available and send them to the hospital. How we're going to solve that ambulance problem? We believe in an adopt an ambulance program. So corporate Jamaica, the diaspora, people overseas, you can pay into a fund to say you are adopting an ambulance and you deal with all of the maintenance of that ambulance for the year. You get a nice little insignia, you get your logo. This ambulance is adopted by the Dawes family of whatever it is. You get your contribute back to your country, or it could be your country, partner draw, it could be a company, partner draw food, adopt an ambulance, and you get nice visibility. People say, wow, Andre doing something to help Jamaican people, as then see the ambulance driving past right across Jamaica. So it helps you as a corporate. It helps the people who now have a reliable ambulance service, because what usually happens at the ambulance is breakdown. And then it helps now the urgent care centers and the hospitals to function. Other thing that we need to look at is the clinics. Now, half of the Jamaicans with high blood pressure and half of the Jamaicans with diabetes do not know that they have high blood pressure or diabetes. And that is why we get about 7,000 strokes per year. A lot of people think that the pressure is a little high. and it go and come, or them a drink some ginger tea or beetroot or hot beer, whatever it is. But we're not measuring to see whether or not the pressures are controlled or whether or not we truly have high blood pressure. So every time you go to the doctor, they check your pressure. And then enough time I ask people, why is your pressure so high? So when I come a doctor, I tell, but otherwise it not trouble me. There's a reason why they call it the silent killer, because it's damaging your kidney, going to put you into renal failure, damaging your eyes, damaging your heart, you get enlarged heart, you get heart failure, all sorts of problems later on. So we want to screen Jamaicans. Every Jamaican must get some form of screening for high blood pressure. And it's simple as a little blood pressure cuff. And you get screened for diabetes. There are some little tests that you can get the results immediately to see what your blood sugar control has been like for the last 6 months. It's called the HbA1c. We want to bring that in all of the clinics. We want to retrain the community health aides now to go out into the communities, every health fair, every church, every community meeting. You have somebody there talking about health, nutrition, the value of screening, and you check the blood pressure, you check the sugars, and not just the sugar at the time. You good? Might as well start ask you some question now. But anyways, that's the point. So when you intervene and you have the pressures and the sugars under control, you have less stroke, less heart attack, less dialysis patients, less amputations. The burden on the hospital get less. You have a healthier population. And I fundamentally believe that health is a human right that we're all entitled to. And it starts from ensuring that we have access to health. You can say it's available, but it's not accessible because it's far, or you have to wait too long, or you have to pay for access because the tools aren't available in the hospital. You have to do it privately, like everything them sent outside to the now. And at the same time, we have to look at protecting our food and water. A lot of the stuff that is getting banned in the US now, they're still being shipped to Jamaica. A lot of the dyes that they use and a lot of the high fructose corn syrup. We need to start looking at how we are going to protect our population. Trans fat need to ban long time. We've been talking about it too long. A lot of the cereals that have all of these added sugars, they love to talk about they're going to tax sugar, sugary drinks. But most people them stop drink sugary drinks long time when they're trying to lose weight. But the cereal and all of these things are a problem coming in a lot of the fatty foods that we import. You know, we need to make chicken cheaper. Jamaicans love chicken. It can't be that the cheapest part of the chicken that we use in the chicken back is the worst part with the highest fat content and the lowest protein content. Poor people need to have a sustainable energy source. And these are just a wholesale view of what we need to do to make Jamaica healthy again. Mothers need to be screened early, antenatal clinic. You know, we need to start providing contraception again. Yes, I know they're talking about the birth rate falling and so forth, but we need to do better as a country. And it's not going to be with paying overpriced contracts out for medical equipment or to do a whole lot of refurbishing and building buildings. The time now is to refocus on the delivery of healthcare, the healthcare service, and that is what we are going to be focusing on.
Interesting, Jamaica. Probably I can give you your own programming.
Maybe after elections, I forgot, tell me, say I forgot to spend some serious time on the ground. I'm going to invite you over to Southeast St. Catherine soon.
Everybody want me everywhere, but Southeast
No, but you have to come. That is your home, sir. And we have people asking for you. Up to last night, I was in Passage Fort and them said, make sure so it's not just Waterford, you're coming.
Oh, really? Is when we must go Southeast? Like, well, like, hello, good evening, good afternoon. Can you respectfully turn off the thing in the background?
I turn off. I would like to ask Dr. Dawes if he knows of anywhere. I have a nerve test to do on my hand. I break my hand, and it seems like the nerve is giving problems.
Nerves test on the hand?
Yeah, my left hand here. And it's very costly. 85,000 they send me to do it at Andrew's Memorial. And honestly, I don't have the money, but if I can get somewhere cheaper to do it, I'll glad to get it done there.
I'm not sure where.
Oh, Lord.
Not sure about her nerves. Him not know about that.
Yeah.
That sound like the nerve conduction study. It's really only privately I know they do it.
Yeah, Andres Memorial done it, but it's 85,000.
85. My God.
So look at me, I go whole sauce of doctor.
You forgot the what?
Whole sauce of the big field.
Salsa.
Yeah, the hair is really getting out of control. I can't grip anything with it, and it's very painful. Most of the time it's swollen and pain.
All right. But we'll see if Dr. does do any research and can find out where else offer that kind of service.
I'll still check.
Hello, good afternoon.
Andre, good afternoon.
Yes, dear.
I want to ask Dr. Dawes a question. Is this the Dr. Dawes from Mapen Hospital?
Well, my father used to run Mapen Hospital for about 28 years. I was at Mapen Hospital for about a year before him run me got the surgery. So in one way, you could say that I am one of the Dr. Dawes from Mapen Hospital. But you're probably referring to my father.
Well, my daughter was a good friend to his daughter. But anyhow, the reason why I call Dr. Dawes, I want to big up Dr. Campbell from the health center at Mapen Hospital, and he also works over by the hospital. He has a chronic clinic over there for people with chronic illness, and I am a part of that clinic. And I'm telling you, Dr. Dawes, Dr. Campbell and his team, they are doing a very, very good job. And because of that clinic, I lost so many weight. My blood pressure is controlled, my diabetes is controlled, and I want to big them up, and I also want to big up Nurse Dawkins. I just want to big up the entire staff at the Mapen Hospital. Thank you.
All right. I love that because that is I still consider that my hospital, because that's where I grew up as a little boy.
Oh, so, Mapen Hospital. You run up and down.
Run up and down there. So I'm glad that we're still hearing good things about Mapen. And these are the things, Andre. You have hospitals and clinics where you have best practices that work. So we have to find out what is working so well in these areas and take those ideas and transplant them elsewhere so that you can have the good things working.
All right, Andre, keep up the good work.
All right, my friend. Hello, good day.
Good afternoon. Hi, how are you doing, Andre?
I'm well, my friend.
Dr. Dawes, quick question. Any plans for the Alexandria Hospital when you guys get into power?
Yeah.
Alexandria Hospital.
I toured Alexandria Hospital. They showed me the new wings. There's a lot of infrastructural work again. But then the question is, when you have a prettier hospital, what about the services? And when I spoke with the doctors there, some of the issues they're having again is staffing. And then they don't have the diagnostics. So again, it's a situation where you draw the blood and you send it off to St. Anne's Way Hospital, and it takes a little while for it to come back. I see no reason why you can't have testing done at the hospital so that you can start to have decisions being made for treatment immediately. And you can have, that is one of the areas I would love to have developed as a proper urgent care facility. You may not have a whole bunch of stay-over beds, but you should be able to treat the persons in that area. In southern St. Anne, effectively, so that they don't have to journey all the way to St. Anne's Bay. Because St. Anne's Bay Hospital right now taking care of Port Antonio, taking care of Falmouth, taking care of all of St. Anne. And of course, it's going to be overburdened. So I'm expecting with any upgrades of Alexandria, it would help to take off the pressure off St. Anne's Bay Hospital. And that's what we want to do. Upgrade facilities so that they can take care of the citizens in their surroundings. Instead of closing down clinics, we want to expand offerings and services. It's all about service delivery. That is what we are going to be focusing on.
How are you going to manage with all of them at Bangarang with Tufton and left here,
I said we have to see first of all where we are. Somebody asked me, I was on a program the other day, and they asked what is the priority, where are you going to start? And honestly, I can't answer that question Because if I'm supposed to treat a patient, I have to examine the patient first to see what's wrong. So we need to have proper audits in the system, and it's not going to be a witch hunt to say, prove, oh yeah, we knew that them thief up the money or whatever. It is to truly see how many ventilators do we have, because we still don't know. How many ICU spaces do we have? We still do not know. What does it take to get this operating theater functional, that one functional? Why is this particular hospital A&E department so overcrowded? What is lacking? Do they need this, that, and that is what we prioritize as we go along. So it will mean that I'm not going to be in a boardroom having a bunch of meetings. I will have to be on the ground talking to the workers at every level, at every single hospital. And
Yes.
that is how we have to take the approach. I have been in a situation where when I am at a hospital and you hear that whether shadow minister or minister is coming, they fix up the place, they push out all of the beds out of the corridors, and they put out potted plants, and they make the place look pretty. And so one would go there and not get the true picture. As shadow minister touring, I have finished a tour of nicely refurbished areas, and nurse and porter called me and said, Doc, them not tell you the truth, because these are the things that are going on and we need to fix them. And it is only with walking the grounds and getting a feel. And the one thing I can say, being a doctor and working at different levels in the public health sector, from intern all the way up to senior medical officer in charge of SAV, to being on the board of SAV Hospital, to being on the board of Western Region, it gives me a wide perspective of what to look for. And once you know what to look for, you can see it a little bit better. And anybody who is works with their hands, they'll understand how automatic things get after a while when you know what to see. Whether it's being a doctor or a nail tech or something, you can diagnose and treat easily. But we have to know what to look for, and we have to know what our limitations are. I'm not coming in with all of the solutions. It is going to be a collaborative effort. The nurses have to get some input, the groundsman have to get some input, the doctors at different levels. It's not just to meet with consultants and you don't hear from the interns, because the problems facing the interns are very different from the problems facing the consultants. The problem facing student nurses are very different from that which is facing the matron. So we have to get a broad picture of what is happening. And then we have to start having frank discussions with the staff who interact with the patients. How are we going to fix your customer service concerns, or the concerns that patients have with your customer service, your interactions? These are frank discussions that must be had, and everybody has to take responsibilities. A lot of times, it may not be our fault where we're in a particular situation, but if we are the ones working in that area, we have to take responsibility for that solution. I use the story. If I wake up one morning and I see a baby at my gate, it's not my fault that there's a baby at my gate, but it is my responsibility to make sure that I take that baby to the hospital, because somebody would have left them there, to get them checked out, get them to the police, to make a report to say that the baby was found XYZ, so that some bulletin might be found to try and find the parents who abandoned them. It is my responsibility, and I have to do that because I am put in that situation. And that is what is lacking with this current administration. They never take responsibility. They always look to push the fault back on the PNP, to say that they found it this way, or PNP do it too, or PNP never do anything. They love to talk about the 18 years. The 18 years was 18 years ago. During that time, we have seen where the JLP is in power for almost a decade now, and they're blaming Patterson for bad roads. They're blaming the PNP for the health sector, when they saw, based on the Fenton Ferguson audits, exactly what was wrong with the system and what it was going to take to fix it. They stopped the audits. They pumped all of the money into marketing. So every single thing was a roadshow. Taking responsibility was a roadshow. Exercising more is a roadshow. Getting screened is a roadshow. But then you still have a situation where Jamaicans don't know that they have these chronic diseases that are causing the problems. you still have a situation where there's probably just one working mammogram in the entire public health sector in the island, when breast cancer is the second most common cancer in women. And they cannot get screened with a mammogram because there are no free mammograms in the public health sector. They have to go to one of the private centers to pay for it. That has significant implications, because when you find breast cancer on a mammogram and the man gone left the show, I don't know if I'm bored or I don't know if I'm not tired of me. Not at all. That's how I go on the comments. Right. So basically, if you find a breast cancer with a mammogram, then you need it is easier. Sometimes you find it precancerous before it turns into cancer. And you can treat it much more effectively. You don't have to be cutting off women's breasts. But the majority, as a matter of fact, somebody did a study, 90% of the breast cancers in Jamaica are diagnosed when they're big enough to be felt as a lump, which means that if you feel a lump and it turns out to be cancer, you have had that cancer for a year and a half. During that time, it could have been picked up with a mammogram. But when I say we don't have access, we see a lot of billboards and news items and so on to talk about screening, but we don't provide the means by which Jamaican women can get screened for breast cancer, because one mammogram for the entire island, it cannot work. Similar thing with prostate cancer. Prostate cancer kills more Jamaicans, and this is for men and women. It kills more men than any other cancer. We don't screen for prostate cancer. We don't screen for colon cancer. We don't have colonoscopies. We don't do fit tests, nothing. So the majority, 75% of colon cancers are advanced by the time you find them. And they have a higher death rate at that point. So it's nice to say know your numbers, but are you offering Jamaicans the access to know their numbers? It's nice to say that you are paying for PSA tests now, prostate tests, and pap smears with your NHF card. But where do they go? Do you have enough partnerships with doctors to do these things privately at a reduced rate? Do you have the services being offered in clinics? Where do they go to check their blood pressure outside of their clinic day every month or every 2 months to make sure that their blood pressure meds are working? What about their sugar? Is your sugar uncontrolled? And you're not going to find out that it's uncontrolled until your next clinic appointment or until you get into a diabetic coma and present to the emergency room. These are the things that we have to start focusing on. And these are the questions we need to start asking of the government when they come and they announce these ribbon cutting ceremonies and the grand announcement of what Cornwall will be looking like when it's open and what UAE is going to look like when it's open, and the Spanish Town Hospital will be getting a new wing. We want to know how the service delivery overall is going to be changed. And the truth is that they can't answer these questions because they have not thought through the entire process to say that these are the things we need to do to remedy the situation. All they're doing is PRing and covering up the whole thing. And that is why the system is collapsing. You can't keep putting a Band-Aid on a cancer. You can't put a lipstick on a pig. People are going to realize when they go for medical attention that they can't get medical attention. And the reason they can't is because there are no machines working, there's no staff, and the equipment is failing, and they don't have the money to get it outside.
You're doing
So,
well.
Andre, this brings us to the end of the show. Thanks for joining us.
You're gone?
I don't know, I don't know if you have anything doing. I have forgot the some work too.
Jamaica, it was a pleasure having Alfred Dawes as the host today. And in the capacity, I was the co-host. The people really appreciate you talking. The people really appreciate you talking. It was a pleasure.
Boy, Andre, Mr. Somebody say I must go back in the kitchen.
No, I'm not go back in the kitchen. Them know if it make me upset, man. Sometimes when me I try and just be at peace, them few people they just don't forget me upset. But
Oh, boy.
maybe leave that alone. So yes, which other day say you're coming to host Midday Connection?
Well, I'll let you know. I'll talk to my people and see when is today's usually my constituency day, but I had a meeting with Sarah. You'll see that press release where they're trying to defend spending $31 million on a drill.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna head over now. And I'll tell them that you confirm that you're coming to Southeast soon. Yes?
Yeah, man, I soon coming to Southeast. Soon coming to
All right,
Southeast.
boss. I will see you soon then.
All right.
Students,
Bye,
it was a
Jamaica.
pleasure hosting today.
Yeah, man. See you back tonight at 8 p.m. Until then, be blessed and keep positive. Bye now, Jamaica. I never gone for the entire show.